Hey, what is up guys? So before I get started, just leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about the beard. I've been growing it out for a little while. Should I trim it? Should I keep growing it? Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and yeah, let's jump right into the video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about lowering your car, and I think as car enthusiasts, if you haven't lowered your car yet, you've at least thought about it. Maybe you've done some research, you just haven't made the jump yet. So in this video, I'm going to try to give you all the facts that you need to not only lower your car the right way, but also think about some possible cons, especially as having a lowered car as a daily driver. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing, like I just mentioned, is making sure that you lower your car the right way. So when I was first looking into lowering my car, I thought, oh, I'll just get these lowering springs. For $200, I'll have the car sitting nice and low like I want, but it just didn't really handle all that well, and I drove on it like that for about a year before I upgraded my shocks and struts. So the reason is the springs are really engineered to work with a certain shock and strut. So if you try putting lowering springs on the stock ones, you're going to have a lot of play in there, and you're going to find that when you hit bumps on the road, it kind of takes the car a little while to kind of level out. It feels a little bit bouncy, and it really turns out that the shocks and the struts are really the main part of your suspension story. That's why they're a lot more expensive than just buying the springs. So if you're going to go that route, I highly recommend that you get the lowering springs, but also get matching shocks and struts that are engineered to work with that ride height. Next thing is ground clearance, and obviously when you lower your car, you're losing a little bit of that gap between your car and the road, and that can actually get pretty sketchy sometimes, especially on your daily drive where you're driving it everywhere. I find that I have to be really careful pulling in and out of driveways, especially pulling into parking spots. I've had the front bumper get caught up on curbs before, and I've had some really close calls where it actually sounds like the bumper's gonna rip right off the car. Actually, if you look underneath my bumper, it's got some battle scars under there, but that's just kind of part of the game. You just have to be really careful. You have to be really mindful of curbs and parking blocks and things like that. Speed bumps are another big one. You have to be really careful with those. Make sure that you're clearing everything. They just installed a speed bump here in my apartment complex, and it's super annoying. Actually, a snowplow ripped out one of them, so now everybody just kind of goes around it. It's really funny, but yeah, those are just a couple little things that you're gonna want to watch out for. And I think having a lower car just makes you a lot more cautious of the road, your surroundings, making sure that you're able to clear all the things that you need to clear. My car is really not all that low, but I still think about all of these things as I'm driving. So the next thing, depending on where you live, is the weather. And here in Michigan, it's not uncommon for us to get up to 8 inches of snow at one time. And in some cases, I've had the snow up to the bumper, but thankfully my car is all-wheel drive, so I can plow right through it, no problem. But if you have a rear-wheel drive car, especially a BMW that's lowered, you might have some issues with that. And people that live in the South might not understand this, but when it first snows, the snow's kind of soft and you can drive through it easily, but as it starts to melt, it compacts, and it can get really tough to drive through sometimes. So if you have a really nice bumper on your car or a nice carbon fiber splitter or something, you don't want your car to turn into a snow plow where you're just shoveling the snow. It can get really hard. Sometimes the snow forms some ice on the surface, which can actually damage your paint and damage the car, so just be really aware of that. Depending on where you live, if you get a lot of snowfall, it's just something to keep in mind. But like I said, with the all-wheel drive on my car, I get through it no problem. Alright, so the next thing, and this might also be a little bit of a regional thing, is the potholes. And I seriously think here in Michigan, the Detroit area, we probably have some of the worst potholes in the whole country. Like, you can't even really call them potholes anymore. It's like a chunk of the Earth's crust is just missing. And not even like worrying about breaking a rim or something. I've seen whole axles completely ripped off of cars. That's how bad they are. And you can't always see them. Sometimes they fill up with water, so it just looks like a puddle. You don't really realize it until it's too late. So yeah, potholes are a really major thing to be aware of, especially on a lowered daily driver. There's some roads that I can't even drive on anymore because the potholes are just so bad. I don't know if it's like the contractors that they're using or the materials, but it seems like the roads here don't last more than 2 years. They just kind of fall apart. So yeah, I'm always on the lookout for those. I probably look like a drunk driver the way that I'm avoiding the potholes, but yeah, that's just part of it, I guess. Alright, so the last thing that you want to consider before lowering your car is actually your passengers. So you might not have even thought of this, but as you lower your car, of course, it's usually getting stiffer. And for me, whenever I have passengers in my car, the very first thing that they say is like, wow, the ride here is really bumpy, like what's wrong with the car? So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, especially on a daily driver. If you have family, maybe you're driving your kids everywhere, that's just something to keep in mind because they are definitely going to feel it too. You might like the performance feel, the handling, the the feedback that you get from it, but I guarantee that if you have other people in your car all the time, they're definitely going to complain that it's not quite that comfortable. As for the performance and everything that you're getting with it, you are losing a little bit of ride comfort with that, so just keep that in mind. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please just give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Also, if you've already lowered your car, maybe leave a comment down below and talk about your suspension setup. Talk about if you like it or not. That way people who are researching lowering their car can kind of get some ideas of what's working for you guys. So yeah, just leave a comment down below about that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.